What's up, my family? How are all you doing today? I'm talking to you from Cahuita, Costa Rica, and I've been living here for a little bit, just really letting go of modern day society, and I'm absolutely loving it out here. And there's been a lot on my mind that I've been needing to share, something that I hope will resonate with some people that watch my videos here. And I call this an ayahuasca diary because this lesson that I'm about to talk about was truly taught to me by ayahuasca, also known as Yagé. So when I say the word Yagé, I am referring to ayahuasca. I call ayahuasca Yagé because the medicine that I work with is from that lineage, is called Yagé. But ayahuasca is more known out in the world. So with that being said, what I want to talk about today is why I no longer smoke marijuana, or I no longer smoke cannabis. And I think this is a message that I just need to share. One, because of the current just explosion with this plant all over the United States and really all over the world mainly. So I just want to say also that I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I am just hoping to put a perspective out there because I see something now that has been shown to me and taught to me, and the lesson was very hard for me to see this. And I came across some videos like this before, and before I reached the place that I'm at now, I never wanted to hear them. So once again, the perspective that I bring, I do not wish to push my truth on anyone. Remember, we all find our own truth, but we can be really wise sometimes to contemplate other people's realities and situations and things that they learn, to see how we can view ourselves from a different point of view. And I think if the world did this more, we could learn a lot of lessons from other people if we let ourselves. So I just want to start off by saying that the reason I no longer smoke cannabis or marijuana, or I don't even ingest it, I'm actually, I found that the truth to life, the epitome of life, the true blessing that we walk in, and the highest form of consciousness is being sober. Just being sober with life and being present with life and not wanting to be or do anything else other than what you're doing in the given moment. And what I mean by that is, I was living my life, and I still see it, so many people, we do things, we go to the beach, or we go to the mountains, or we do things and we smoke some weed first because it makes it better. It enhances the experience. And I'm here to say, from my perspective, it does not in any way, shape, or form enhance your experience. So that is where I am now. So let me talk about how my relationship with cannabis used to be. Cannabis was used by me medicinally at first, and then it just turned into a constant medicinal habit in my world. When I got out of the military, it was my crutch. And when I say that, I needed to lean on cannabis for some time because the world was too much for me to handle. So like most veterans out there in the world, we look to cannabis, and it band-aids that. It band-aids our reality in a way. It softens us. It distances us from the world. It creates a barrier on the social construct that we can't really handle due to our previous experiences and conditioning of ourselves and our mind from our previous employment. Because we cannot take the reality that we existed in when we go to war and bring that mindset back home, and we are not taught and we do not understand how to reintegrate and recondition our minds back into the quote-unquote normal kind of flow of life. So we turn to cannabis, and most 9 times out of 10 guys like me, we lean on it very hard. But what I see now is what happens is we lean on it for the rest of our lives. And many people lean on this plant for their whole life, and they don't even realize it. Because in their head it's good for them, or they like how it makes them feel, or they think that it's enhancing their consciousness in some way. And when I searched very deep inside myself and kind of all over the planet, and I started working with ayahuasca, in the beginning, I was mixing cannabis with ayahuasca. I wasn't mixing, oh yeah, I guess I was in the beginning. I was so kind of ignorant to what it is I was doing. Is, you know, had cannabis in my system when I would go sit in an ayahuasca ceremony, and I had no idea the energy that I was messing with. I had no idea the divine grace that I was bestowing upon, and I was not putting the respect because I didn't know. In the beginning, I didn't know. I was not as aware as, you know, as the words that are coming out of my mouth now. They're coming from a much greater awareness than the place that I'm speaking about. So just understand that. So I realized through many, in the beginning of my ayahuasca Yagé experiences, I was told many times to stop smoking. I was told, I was shown, and for those people out there that have worked with Yagé before, you know, when I say I was shown and I was told, I literally was shown and I literally was told. So people that have not drank the medicine before, to you, you may not understand that terminology, but you're dealing with a very, you're finding yourself. The medicine is a diagnosis tool. So to show you what you need to do as an individual to enhance and grow in this life and evolve. And it showed me kind of in the beginning stages of my relationship with Yagé that cannabis has got to go. And I didn't listen to it. There were times when I was like, I would come home from ceremony, I'd be like, I'm done. You know, I'm done, and I would like stop smoking it. But I still had my life was surrounded with it. You know how it can kind of consume you. You know, you have your fingers in it in a lot of different ways. It's like the stickiness of the plant never leaves your fingers. Even though you're not smoking it, you're still, you know, I don't want to get into the details, but you still got the ties to it. So I'd stop smoking it, and then I would have, you know, and I would dibble with it and dally with it. And every time Yagé would tell me and show me that cannabis isn't for me, the lessons kept getting harder and they kept getting deeper. And ayahuasca, Yagé can be the most loving experience for you in the world, but I had an ego that had armor upon armor upon armor on it. And when Yagé goes to remove that ego, love, in order to remove the ego, the body has to go through some challenges. And I had some very, very, very hard, beautiful, divine experiences that kept getting more and more intense, and I wasn't listening to what I was being shown. So finally, after over two years consistently working with Yagé, and when I say consistently, I mean consistently, I got taught a lesson that changed my entire life. And I can say that that was the lesson, is when I completely 100% disconnected from cannabis. So after that lesson, I actually put everything that I owned that resembled anything I had to do with cannabis, and I put it into a burn barrel, and I lit it on fire with gasoline. Actually, I had it done for me, and I had to watch it over a video because that was it for me. That was the disconnection. I also went through a detox out of my body. I felt the cannabis leave my body because it holds on to you. People don't realize cannabis is a very tricky, manipulating plant. and it works your way into their life very deeply. And before you know it, you live your whole life. And how much have you changed? How much have you evolved? Marijuana consciousness, in my opinion, is not a higher consciousness. It is not an evolutionary consciousness. It does not push you to becoming that next level. So 99% of us, we are using the plant under a misconception within our own mind, because the plant wants us. It wants us to keep coming back to it. And it clouds our consciousness. It really does. You truly cannot reach consciousness when you meditate while you're on cannabis. If cannabis is in your system strongly within your mind, like you just smoked it even for a couple days, you can't meditate. And if you think you're meditating, you're just at marijuana consciousness. You're not in true consciousness, which is sober consciousness. So another thing that I kind of say to myself, and I say to some of the people that I coach, is anything that we do without the thought of consequence is a drug. And I don't mean that in like some weird way, you know, judgmental way. I mean that is just assess your life. What is it in your life that you do consciously, unconsciously? For me, I found that I was eating a lot of times very unconsciously, and I was eating things I knew I shouldn't have been eating them. So like when I got rid of a lot of this other stuff in my life, I started to fine tune the drugs in my life, the crutches that I was leaning on, and I'm still working on it every single day. But I cannot describe to you the freedom that I found within myself when I let go of marijuana. I've been having that stuff in my life since I was like 16. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be using cannabis. Just assess your life. So many people are like, oh, my back hurts, so I stay high all day. And that was another excuse that I had. But then, hey, guess what? I stay high all day instead of fix my back. And then when I stopped smoking cannabis, boom, full-time, rehabbed my back, working on it every single day, all the time, no excuses. If pain creeps in, it's my body letting me know that something's not right. If inflammation is in your body, it's your body telling you something's not right. If you're not sleeping at night and you use cannabis to sleep, first of all, cannabis takes your dreams. You don't dream on cannabis. And dreams are so essential to spiritual, emotional, and mental health. You must dream. Dream is so important, and I don't want to get into what dreaming is right now, but it is so important to your spiritual, mental, and emotional evolution. You learn and grow as a soul through your dreams. Dreaming is very, very important. And when you take a plant that takes your dreams from you, you're not even really reaching true REM sleep. You're essentially reaching like cannabis shutdown. So I didn't even know what sleeping really was until I, found sleep again. So I'm not saying that you can't use it for a given period of time. We all need Band-Aids. But what happens if you leave a Band-Aid on a wound too long? It doesn't heal. It stays like gooey and it still bleeds. Eventually, you're like, oh, I got to take that Band-Aid off so it gets some air. And then it creates a nice scab and then the scar and then it goes away and you heal. But if you keep that wet Band-Aid on it the whole time and it's all gunked up with blood and goop, it doesn't heal. And that's exactly what I feel like it does to us as a person. So, and once again, this is just my experience. And for those of you that are working with ayahuasca, what a lesson I learned. The only lesson that I have heard in another testimony compared to what I went through and the depth that I reached with understanding what cannabis was in the relationship to ayahuasca, Yagé, and the relationship to my life is Graham Hancock's talk in the TED Talk. It's like it's like a band TED talk, and it's Graham, I think I'm saying that name right, like a Graham Hancock, and he's like I think he's a archaeologist he's a very smart individual, and he works with the study, maybe he's an anthropologist. I forget exactly what he was, or what he is, but he's wrote numerous books, and he's a very smart man about cultures and how the universe, and he has some very deep thinking, and he's very well respected and known. If you listen to his TED Talk on his marijuana breaking experience, it's about the same thing that I went through, in a way. Just the level of depth and intensity that was shown to me. I almost lost everything in my life. I was this close to losing everything that has ever been given to me. All the blessings in my life would have been washed away if I would have went down a particular path. And I would have walked down that path without Yagé. So I owe so much to the plant, that I respect it so much, that when we go and we sit in these very divine, sacred prayers with Yagé, with Mother Ayahuasca, and we start working with the medicine. I'm not talking about, hey, I go and I drink ayahuasca once or twice a year. I mean, you work and build a relationship with the medicine. You better be ready, because one day you can get woke up quick, and you're gonna look at yourself and you're gonna be like, what was I doing? And that was me. I was like, how did I not see this a year ago, or like 2 years ago, you know? So finding pure sober, I would say I'm sober, and it is beautiful. No alcohol, no extras. I even took a break from Yagé for a long time. And now I feel like I have been working towards doing and showing life everything that was shown to me in all my prayers that I witnessed for 2 years consistently, how to better my life. I was shown so much, and I wasn't doing the work. And when I broke the cannabis, and when I broke some relationships in my life that needed to be broken, I'm gonna make a lot more videos on my experiences. This one is just on the cannabis. That's why it's called Ayahuasca Diaries 1, because I have so much that I want to speak to people about, because you can really learn a lot because many people leave these ceremonies and they don't understand what happened. And I say to you, so many times people will leave these Yagé prayers, these ayahuasca prayers, and then they're smoking cannabis within a couple days. You are stopping the evolutionary state that you were still in from ceremony. You are completely stopping the communication, the portal that was opened up for you to continue learning and evolving and healing. You are stopping it dead in its tracks the minute that you go to smoke cannabis. And Yagé, ayahuasca, stays with you far longer than we ever really feel. Because yeah, we come home from ceremony and we feel great and all this stuff, and we don't really know what happened, but we're like, you know, but weeks, you're changing. Months, you'll still continue to change. Give the plant the respect that it deserves. It is a master teacher plant beyond my comprehension. I don't even have words to describe the respect and the love that I have for finding what I have found within myself through the guidance of Yagé, ayahuasca. If anyone has any questions about some of this, I would be thrilled to talk to anyone about this. Sometimes working with these medicines can be very confusing, and there are some guidance steps and things that you can do to allow yourself to integrate and I must say that the most powerful way to integrate what you learn from Yagé into your life is to give yourself space and time to let it happen. I would like to dedicate this video and these words to a man that has helped me very greatly, and he is my Taita. I don't have permission, I'm not going to use his exact name, but Taita, I thank you so much for being an ambassador for this medicine and guiding me through what you have guided me through. The time and the energy and the love that you have shown me is beyond words for me to express. So I can only show you the level of gratitude through living my life as the medicine that I am and the healing that I've gone through. So if you see this video, my friend, my Taita, I love you and I thank you. And to you, my family, I hope these words show a new perspective, something to think about. And remember, we take care of ourselves, we take care of the world, and have a blessed day.